Hi there. This is the fourth Zoom mini reunion for Stanford's class of 1955. I'm Marge Hunnicky Blaine, and I'm hosting a group of our classmates today. Enjoy getting to know them with all the stories about their lives after Stanford.
Charles Stockholm.
I'm here.
You've got the most beautiful
Wow.
background.
He's got the islands. I lost my background.
Somebody's going to have to come and show me how to do that
You
sometime.
don't have to
Yeah,
stand
me
behind
too.
me.
That's the only way I can hide my dirty desk. So
But you're not
Yeah.
really there. You're just pretending to be there.
I'm just pretending to be here.
Okay, that's
It's,
good.
it-
It
it's
works.
northern Polynesia in an unnamed atoll.
Hello there, David. There's
How are you,
Torpedo.
dear?
Are you sticking around for the holidays?
No, we leave momentarily. That's why we're frantically packing.
John Matthews,
Yes, indeed.
I'm
You
so
notice that I
happy
have
to-
a messy office.
you do. Well, it's not that bad. It looks pretty good.
Right.
I'm so glad you're here. Thank you very much. I know you had a very busy and probably traumatic fall.
Yeah, my wife passed away on September 3rd.
Oh,
Oh, I'm so
So-
sorry.
Oh,
Mm.
So we've got all sorts of post-death stuff to work with and all that kind of junk that's has have to happen.
That's not easy.
No.
And I think you've moved to a new
Well, I'm in the moving
Ben.
process. You can tell by the boxes in the back there. 3 meals a day here and they're fun people here and good staff. And it's a very nice facility out here.
It's beautiful. I love your
relieves-
walking trails.
Yeah, and it relieves my daughters of a whole bunch of concern, you know. Yeah, both my daughters are nearby, yeah.
Do I see Ben? Is that Ben Vernaza?
that's Ben's plane.
Where's Ben?
It says he's connecting to audio.
Oh gosh, I love that plane. That is gorgeous.
That's the plane he uses to chase the what do you call it? The eclipse. He chases it.
I
That way,
love it.
instead of getting it for 2 minutes, he gets it for 10.
Just tell us in 5 minutes or less what you've done since you left Stanford.
Who's this?
Well, I was with IBM for 33 years and the apex of that was a 2-year assignment in Milano, which really opened up our eyes to the world. And we had a fantastic time there. And our older daughter, Mosey, learned Italian. She was only 8.5 to 10.5 years old, but she followed through with it and went back after college to Firenze for a year and now speaks Spanish. And she married a Brazilian, speaks Portuguese. So, and by the way, I no longer have any grandkids. I have grand adults.
You're not alone.
Older just graduated from Cal Poly, and the younger one is just started with at UC Davis. So we have all sorts of things happening with our grandchildren. It's great. And we've done some traveling, multiple trips. We've taken a yacht trip with a friend in Greece and not Norway, but the Netherlands, and down that coast along the North Sea, bouncing around in the sea. Anyway, we've had some fun times.
And I think that you've lived near Stanford all those years. Have you connected with
Well,
Stanford?
I've been in Ladera, you know, which is that little community of 500 houses. For 59 years, we've been living at that location. Yeah. And we used to go to the Stanford football games, and I was there, yes, 40 years ago when the play happened. Yes, I was there. And I hate the fact that they rubbed it in our nose for this last game. 5 times we had to see that play. But poor Dave at that game 40 years ago had to go to the bathroom and he missed the play. The poor guy. But of course he's seen it on TV. But I used to go to the men's basketball games pretty regularly and most of the football games, but those days are over now. I just watch them on the tube.
Yeah, Terry and I were at, you said you were there, Mike, for that, the play.
I was there for the play, but I was also there when McCaffrey, not the young one, but Ed, his dad, played, we had the revenge of the play.
Oh, I don't
And,
remember that. We've
oh,
gone to all
yeah,
the,
what happened was Cal was ahead and they had the game wrapped up and they had a couple of big penalties, which got us up near the, into their territory. And then the game was like over. We had the last play and they thought it was dead, but so all the Cal rooting section poured out onto the field. But the game was still on. So they got a big penalty and they had to go back, into the stands. And we got another play and we scored a touchdown or a field goal, I can't remember, and won the game. So it was like the revenge.
I do remember that now. Yeah.
Was it
Well,
Berkeley?
we were there for the play. This is Terry behind me.
Hi, Terry.
We were there, and every time they play that damn thing, and we were right there in the end zone. We had the cheap seats with the whole family was with us. And every time I watch it, it's like, no. It did not. He dropped the ball. I saw him. That's what I relive every time. So yesterday we had to endure all of that, or Saturday when we watched it on TV, and we had to endure all of their rehashing of the 40 years. They created a cult out of it. And I still watch it and I'm like, no, I watched it. The damn ball dropped. He did not.
I thought his knee was down. Well, I was at the game too, but I could swear his knee was down
Right.
before he started lateraling
Absolutely.
around.
It
was
was
a
down,
stolen
they were
project.
out.
I
What a crock. Yeah.
I had my binocs on it and I cursed all the way home saying it was a forward lateral. And I read the paper last, I think it was the Saturday Chronicle that said the officials went over it again and it was a forward lateral. And so they should have called the play and they didn't. So who knows?
What was kind of neat was, Saturday they had the trombone guy and the guy that carried the ball for the play. Do you remember that? They showed
Yeah.
And what I thought was cute was the guy, the football player from Cal said, oh yeah, we've been friends ever since we met in the end zone.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of nice. I thought they attempted to make sort of a camaraderie out of it. It's like, yeah. I can't go there, but all right.
Did you notice that the trombone was in the statue or underneath the statue, unveiled? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Well, I
You should
never
ask
find
Jean.
out.
Ask Jean about her trip to India coming up.
We leave on December 10th and we get back New Year's Day.
Oh wow.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, that is a big one.
And it's we spend 3 days in Mumbai and then we hop on the cruise ship and hit the lower cities, Goa and so forth along the southern tip of India, over to Sri Lanka, down to Phuket, Penang, Malaysia, and end up in Singapore.
Oh,
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 wow.
nice.
I'm going with my friend Sue, and we're joining some sort of a group that she knows somebody on, and we're off.
I love it. So that's
Perfect.
3 weeks, right?
Well, yeah, it'll be 22 days by the time we get home.
Very nice.
So Anne, is it okay if I call you Vondi?
Of course.
One of your friends told me that she called you Vondi, one of your roommates in college.
That's right. Freshman year, there were 4 girls named Anne in 3 adjacent rooms. So we all had to adopt nicknames except one.
I've been talking to one of your roommates who used to work on the Chaparral, Jean Bashur-Tull.
Basher.
Basher. She's terrific. She's a character, but she was your roommate.
We also went to high school together.
You went to
There were-
Piedmont High School.
Yeah.
Everybody went to Piedmont High School, I think.
Pat Carroll, very,
Wow.
very nice to see you.
Well, it's lovely to join you all, and I'm sorry I'm 25 minutes late. I had it on my calendar.
We've been chatting away, and one of the things that we do with somebody who's coming for the first time is to ask you to share with us what you've done since you left Stanford.
How many years has it been?
Oh God, what is it, 65?
67.
57? Oh my gosh.
How could it happen to us?
And Pat is in 5 minutes or less.
In less than 5 minutes.
No, you get a full 5 minutes. Absolutely.
Well, I graduated in 2 years. I married a thoracic surgeon 2 years after I graduated. We were married 56 years, and we had 4 children. The 4 children have 9 grandchildren. And we have 2 doctors and a stay-at-home mom who was a speech pathologist and a principal in commercial real estate. They're all doing fine. The grandchildren are all doing fine. The youngest is 20. The oldest is 33 or 32. And I kept myself busy being a stay-at-home mom, doing volunteer work when they were growing up. And when they left the nest, I took up golf with a vengeance. And I'm still playing. I'm having trouble finding partners. And
Where do you live?
and
Just golf partners?
golf, yeah. I gave up looking for partners when I became about 85. And so I keep very busy playing golf and bridge. And my life is very good. I moved out of a big house into a small house, which I gutted and fixed for me. And I have a dog, and we're very happy.
Good.
That's it.
Pat, I think, did you tell me you're living in the house that was your parents' house?
Right.
Yes.
It was my mother's house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun. And did you grow up in that house?
I did. It's wonderful location. It's in Westwood, just east of the university.
Okay.
And I can get anywhere in about 10 or 15 minutes. So it's for Los Angeles. It's a great location.
Excuse me, you've kept up with Stanford by going, you're involved in the Hoover Institute?
I love the Hoover. And I'd go with my daughter or my granddaughter who both went to Stanford, and we'd walk around the quad and remember what it was like. Try to find our way.
It's so when you come up for the Hoover meetings, what do you do?
It's all on current events and international events. And Condoleezza Rice is now director.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And one time they had Jimmy Lai, the one that's imprisoned in Hong Kong, as the guest speaker. Another time they had Condoleezza Rice, fabulous guest speakers and fabulous people that are Hoover Fellows. And they all talk, and you go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they talk all day. And then you get up the next day and go for breakfast and lunch, and then it's over. But by that time, your head is just swimming. They've opened a new auditorium, which is beautiful, right in front of Hoover.
Yeah.
I don't think they limit attendance.
Okay.
Whoever will, pay the fee is welcome to come. And they're very interesting people.
You told me you were going to try to, you get in touch with Carla Anderson.
Yes, I didn't get an answer back from Carla. She may be overseas. I can pull you up to date that she was Secretary of Transportation and then trade representative under Gerald Ford. And then she left and formed her own firm, which deals with import-export. They represent Coca-Cola and all those overseas. And so she has always done a lot of traveling. And I'm amazed because she's still doing it at our age. She looks great, doesn't look like she's aged a year.
Wow.
She has 4 wonderful kids. They've all done well. Their kids are doing well, and they all live in Washington, D.C.
Rudy Reich, I see your name.
Great.
Are you there? Betty Crowley, you are there, my good friend from Branner, and Mary Carol, you remember Betty. Betty, why can't we see you? We can't hear you or see you. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can
Yeah.
hear you now. Why can't we see you?
I'm not computer savvy, so that's why you can't see me. I don't know
Okay.
what I have to click on.
Okay, Betty, do you have any special Thanksgiving guests coming?
Yes, I do. Deanne Henney is coming.
Okay, she was our classmate at Branner.
Right, give Diane our best.
Wow.
But she's come to my house for Thanksgiving for a long time.
Oh,
Hey, Betty, I remember being at your house in, is it Melrose?
Yes, it is.
Melrose, Massachusetts.
For
And
you.
yeah, that was a long time ago.
Been a
But
real-
I'm going to ask you, I know you've got a great big 2-story house, but are you cooking the Thanksgiving dinner?
No, I gave that up when I was 75. I have a daughter who lives in Winchester, and she has a great big house, and she can sit about 13 in her dining room, and then she has a kitchen that will seat 10.
So you've got about 5 minutes to tell us what you've been doing since you left Stanford.
Well, I left Stanford early. I graduated a quarter early. So I went to Europe, and I'm going to tell you this little bit. I'm on the Bridge of Sighs in Venice, and a guy comes up to me and he said, "Did you go to Stanford?" And I said, "Yes, I did." And he said, "I used to watch you at the basketball games when you did gymnastics at halftime." That's how small the world is. So I taught school for 1 year, and those kids would be 72 or 3 years. Not that I don't know any of them anyway. And then I had 5 children, and I decided not to go full-time teaching because of the 5 kids. So I've been a substitute teacher for over 50 years. I grew up in Winchester, graduated from Winchester High, and I'm still working 2 or 3 days a week as a substitute at Winchester High.
Hey, Betty, how old are these kids that you're subbing?
They're all high school. I work in the high school.
So all 4 years?
14 to 18.
Okay, it's a full range. Okay. Rudy, tell me how you pronounce it.
Reich,
Right.
as in bike, as in bike.
Thank you.
Third Reich.
Thank you. Great.
Third Reich.
Very
Very
German.
good. Okay, I'm glad you got on. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming to the homecoming. That was great. Hey, you and I and Terry and your wife, we almost got to sit together. That crush of a crowd that pushed right in at the last minute was amazing.
Yes, it was.
In the quad. Yeah, I was very happy that we were still standing and everything worked out all right.
That was a great dinner.
Yes, it was. It was fabulous. I think I see Ben Vernaza.
Well, he was there.
Hey, Ben, where'd you go?
No,
There he
I'm
is.
here. Somebody called me. That's why I went out for a while.
Okay, that's a great picture of your plane. Are you still flying?
Yes, I'm still flying. I'm flying down to Santa Monica Airport tomorrow morning to meet my partner from Chicago, who comes every Christmas to visit his kids. So that's where we get together. We sort of a board meeting, but we don't record until he gets back to Chicago because we're not doing business in California.
Okay. Is that for tax reasons?
I knew I was going to get a rise of another CPA there. So also, I can see where you're going on this beautiful trip in the Far East, and you'll be fresh for tax season when you get back. Yeah. So yeah, the last couple days, a couple people on LinkedIn have talked about elder abuse, financial elder abuse. And so I'm sort of getting involved in that. And there's a couple things that are really helpful from the standpoint of legal standpoint. And one is a new a regulation by the Department of Labor, which is called no-clear, meaning non-compliance with laws and regulations. And it applies to the auditors of ERISA plans. And before, all I need to do was to get a statement from the that those assets existed. But now they're going to have to look into what they're invested in and if they're diversified. So that's one thing. Another thing is the Supreme Court has had two unanimous, that's really unusual in this day and age, unanimous decisions regarding fiduciary matters. And basically, they both said that when it comes to fiduciary matters, we look to the third restatement of trusts, which is the basis for the Prudent Investment Act. And basically, both of them say that failure to reasonably diversify a portfolio is a breach of fiduciary duties. So that can be applied legally now in many cases, not just the big ERISA plans, but individual cases, especially for elderly people. So that's sort of my take on that, and I will help in that regards.
You mean I've got to get all my assets out of Bitcoin?
Wouldn't be a good idea to have it all in Bitcoin.
Well, you know, every generation has their asset that's the best to be in. And this generation just got a good lesson.
They sure did. Hey, what was our generation's thing to be in?
Depression.
Yeah, that's right.
Gold.
That was a big.
Gold was gold originally, and also there were people who liked to try and get stocks that were very small companies that had made a great increase right away, and then people would fall and go into these things. And of course, anything that goes up this fast, guess what? It comes down that fast as well. So, but there were people that were looking for, you know, quick to get rich quick.
Yeah, that's its greed. And
Well, I haven't learned how to get rich long.
Oh. Hey, Mary Carol,
yes,
you've been keeping the home front running, and I know you were very careful about staying there, not coming up to join us. Has everyone remained healthy where you live?
Well, not completely. John and I are in good shape. We are very careful about things, but there are people in our facility that have come down with COVID. Ooh. And there are other people that don't care about anybody else, and you pass them on the hallway about 2 feet away. They can't hear. Unfortunately, we can. And they don't wear masks. So we learn to turn the other way, you know, turn the other cheek. We're doing very well. We just had a very good visit with our 67-year-old son, who graduated from Stanford in 3 years, Phi Beta Kappa.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, we have a few in the family like that. Unfortunately, we're sort of a Stanford family. So John and I are the we're the in-betweens and behind it all. Half of the family, the male side, has done very well. My dear husband, who I met at Stanford, and of course, you know, I was called MK, and you know that for many, many years, John would say, I can't be married to somebody named MK by her initials. So we're celebrating our 68th anniversary in December, and I'm Mary Carol to most people now.
And I have learned to call you Mary Carol, but
no, but that's right.
You'll
But-
always be MK to me when John's
see,
not around.
I know, and I love it because my friends before JT called me MK.
There
And-
you go. Chuck
Thank you.
Stockholm.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
so glad you're with us this time, and I'd love to hear what you've been doing all these times that you've been unable to be with us.
Oh, I was tied up in some board meetings that happen to be the third Wednesday of every month. And so we were very nice to change it for Monday so I could attend today. So then most of those, I think your meetings were on those Wednesdays. And speaking of Zoom meetings, I had, believe it or not, a high school reunion meeting this morning for 2 hours, which was similar stories but different people, but it was a lot of fun. So Zoom is solved a lot of problems for all of us, but we're still trying to travel, and we got to Europe this year, and it was a great trip. We came back from London and did our test, and got to San Francisco, and 2 days later I had COVID. My wife never came down with it. We had our masks on all the time and all our vaccinations, and so you never know when it's going to hit, the one way or the other. Fortunately, it was all I had was extreme exhaustion and no fevers or anything like that. But we've had a couple of trips to Maui already this year, and we were supposed to go this month, and we had to cancel for some other reasons. But we're keeping busy. Still playing golf once a week. Not doing very well. Somehow my scores seem to be going down these days, but I'm out there trying.
Yay.
Marcia and Dave, I can't see Marcia. Is she there with you?
Marcia went down to pick up dinner, so we're going to feed.
Okay, I thought you were living at the V now.
We are.
And oh, you go pick up dinner in the dining room, or?
If we're not dining with friends, we pick up because we're leaving at dawn tomorrow morning. So we're eating in tonight.
Okay. And so tell us where you're headed at dawn tomorrow.
We're going to Charleston, South Carolina, where our son resides, and we'll spend Thanksgiving with him and his family.
As I recall, didn't you tell about was it up at Lake Coeur d'Alene? That
You're right. That's where we dwell every summer for the last 120 years. And the whole family comes up at that time and spend time. We have 3 houses, and so we're able to spread out. We have 4 children. Yeah, there are 22 of us. And years ago, when they had little tiny kids, Marcia had, I think, 5 or 6 nannies, 2 chefs. So nobody had to do anything except eat and swim. So they love being there.
Chumming in Coeur d'Alene.
Chumming.
What's chumming?
Chumming is where you throw bread in the water and let the fish get fat on it. So that you're fishing.
You've been spying on us. You've been spying on us. Of course we chum. Yes. Now, fishing off the dock has been forever. We don't, I'm a fly fisherman, so I find that very boring. But the kids loved it, and so they still fish there. The striking thing about the lake is it was stocked with Chinook salmon 50 or so years ago. So the big fish, if you want to sit there with a warm beer and a trolling rod, I find that very boring.
I did something fun this morning. I did a Zoom with the gal who's doing interviews with senior Stanford people. And for an hour, we talked about our good times at Stanford. It was fun.
Interesting.
That was wonderful. What kind of times at Stanford did you share with her, Jean?
Well, we talked about the honor system and how one of the professors had put a final exam in an envelope with my name on it and tacked it to his door and said I could pick it up at any time I wanted.
Wow.
We talked about how the campus had changed over the years, how we got our mail, where we walked, some of the professors we liked and talked about and had. It was just a fun time.
Homecoming. You said you still have clients in, I don't know, all over. I know some Arizona or Nevada.
Arizona,
and
Colorado.
You fly there and go
No,
there?
no. Generally, they mail the stuff down these days. They used to,
Okay.
most of them used to live in the Walnut Creek Bay Area and wouldn't let go of their CPA. So we do it by mail or by phone, sometimes by fax.
Very good.
Occasionally, some of them will come into town, and occasionally I have gone to visit.
Pat, hey, Pat Carroll, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? I didn't get to ask you that the other day.
I'm going to my daughter's.
Okay.
We have actually just one family, one larger family. I have a son that is, his two boys are playing water polo in, are in the Eastern Conference Finals. They go to Princeton. They're not coming. They're staying back. And another son is actually coming to me. So, and another son has a house in La Quinta and his kids are going there. So it's just my daughter's family extended, which is nice.
Yeah, that's great.
I do the baked stuffed potatoes and the vegetables, and everybody does a little bit of everything.
Well, our daughter, the one who's in Spice Islands with Stanford right now.
Wow.
She's been doing dinner. I taught her how. She knows how to do it. She's been doing dinner for, I don't know, 30 years. And our son, who lives in San Francisco, one of our sons, they do Christmas. Well, this year she's gone for Thanksgiving. So Greg, who lives in the city, Greg and Cheryl is his wife. Greg and Cheryl said, well, okay, no problem. We'll do Thanksgiving. And then Connie can do Christmas we'll just switch the holidays this year. So everything was fine. So for several weeks, Cheryl works at a very demanding job. So, she has to take time off and she plans ahead. She's a good planner. So she's got all this planned about how to cook a turkey. She never cooked a turkey. And we usually have like 20, 23 or something. I suppose there'll be, I think 17. And so she said, she keeps asking for recipes and directions and how how to do this turkey thing. And finally, Greg, her husband, he said the other day, no, we got it all solved. It's all figured out. We know what we're doing. And I said, great. What are you doing? He said, we're buying a roasted turkey and bringing it in.
Right. And they're delicious. All my friends have done that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was the best idea I'd ever heard of.
Yeah. And they give you the sides if you want it too, I think.
Right.
I have a tip for you. No matter what the turkey's like, get lots of cranberry sauce.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Well, the turkey will be delicious. Somehow it's like those rotisserie chickens that you buy at the market. I buy anyway, and they're delicious and very moist. I mean, everybody raves about them. And the next time I do Thanksgiving, I've definitely decided on the menu.
Absolutely. Hey, Marilyn Welland, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm cooking a turkey for 10
Oh.
people.
For how many?
10.
Wow, I'm impressed.
I haven't done one for several years.
I'll
I
be
used to do
thinking
it all
of
the
you.
time.
And
Well-
remember, you can always buy one if
It's sitting in the freezer right now. I was thinking I better get it out.
Ask Marty where he's gonna have lunch after Thanksgiving this Friday.
Unfortunately, have to have lunch with Mike. We're going to be down in Coronado having our dinner for the family of 11 down there. They live in Coronado. So we're flying down, and on Friday, we made reservations at the Pacifica in Del Mar to have lunch with Mike and Sharon. And we're really looking forward to that. And they don't live that too far. They live pretty close to Del Mar and Rancho Bernardo, right, Mike?
Right.
I think that's
Right.
right.
Maybe we should invite all these people.
Sure, come
to
on
join
down.
us.
Pacifica will love it.
And what time do we show up?
Yeah, at 1 o'clock.
Well, anybody that wants to come over to Orinda on Thanksgiving, I am cooking a turkey, and so far there's only 2 of us.
Well, that's an idea.
I love it. You're going to have great leftovers.
I have a question for Rudy. Are you there, Rudy?
I'm here.
How come we always call you, Rudy, Rich, when your name is German and like mine is IE is Trieb, EI should be Reich? How come we always call you, Rudy, Rich, other than the fact you have a lot of money?
Well, answer to that question is that when I was in elementary school and high school, and my family spelled it R-E-I-C-H, but they pronounced it Rich. So when I came to Stanford, I didn't like that because the spelling was German and it should be pronounced Reich.
Yeah.
With a lot of good into it. And so I changed it from Rudy Rich to Rudy Reich. And that's how most people know me.
Mike, you going to wrap it up? You got any news for us from the magazine or for the magazine?
Oh, gosh, I have so much. I don't think I can give it all to you. So let me just give you a couple of thoughts. First of all, I've really been pushing out, trying to find people that we haven't talked to at all. And it's really been fun. I scored with a guy who named Wallace France. He lives up in Seattle. Wally was a retired colonel. He came to Stanford a little different than most of us. He was born in February 1928. So Wally's going to be 95 in February. He's 94. And what he does, he has hobbies. One of them, of course, is he works out 3 times a week at the gym, which he drives to. The other is that he likes to shoot. He's got a bunch of revolvers he likes to shoot from the wartime. He was a colonel. He's a retired colonel. So he goes to the shooting range and target shoots once a week. He drives there with his revolvers. And he's just a pistol, this guy, and he's 95. My God, what an inspiration to be in that kind of shape. So that's Wally. I'm going to write about him, in May, I think. And another one that you'll see in December next month, the next magazine, is Lars Landa. He lives up there near you guys in on the Russian River in Healdsburg. He lives in a house that his family used to use. They lived in San Francisco for summer vacations. He still swims in the river. He said, except the last couple of years, it's been so slow that it's not very good. But Lars is an artist, a professional fine arts artist, and he's made 100 or more paintings. And they're on show at the Museo Italiano, Americana Museo Italiano. I got the words mixed up. In San Francisco, which has just been remodeled. And I've looked them up in the internet and stuff, and we've talked a lot, and they sound pretty exciting. So you might want to look at Lars Landa's paintings, and you'll read about him.
I'm sorry, Mike, say it again. What is it that
Lars, L-A-R-S.
Yeah.
Landa, L-A-N-D-A.
What is it about Americana? What?
Oh, it's Museo Italiana Americana. I got the words in the wrong order, but that's
in
what
San Francisco?
In San Francisco.
Museum?
He's also got pictures at the Italian consulate. He's very proud of his Italian.
I guess.
And he should be. He's good. So anyway, that's an interesting guy, and Wally's an interesting guy. And the other one, I've been working on the Chaparral people. We've got several of them still around, and one of them is we just talked about with Ann, because she was a roommate of Ann's at one time, and that's Jean Bashor Tull.
Okay.
And she is funny. She's a funny girl. And she lives in Barrington, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. And in the Garlands, it's called. It's supposed to be a great place, sort of like the V, I think. And so, I mean, these people are really interesting. They're a kick. I've had maybe 25 or 30 emails back and forth with Jean, and she tells me about all her friends. One of them is Jean Miller. She's on the East Coast, and then she talks about Bondi, and I don't know, let me think. Oh, Al Hayes was one of the people at the Chaparral, and I don't know if you ever remember Tommy Timberlake.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, Tommy lived next door, grew up next door to my uncle and my cousin Tim. I mean, exactly next door. And he was next door to me in Encino. So we were good friends. And Jean dated Tommy when they were at the Chaparral. So I'm trying to find out about that. She's a little bit.
But Tommy Timberlake died years ago, though.
Yes, he did. Yes, yeah.
Hey, Bob, can you slide a little bit to the right so we can see half of your face?
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh,
sorry, Dave.
thank
I
you.
always mess this thing up, don't I? Last time I had a smudge on the. Anyway, so that's kind of give you an idea of the people we're talking to, and so look forward to the column.
And what about Chuck Reed?
Chuck Reed.
Yeah,
Is,
I know.
Yeah,
Do you see him?
he's in Pasadena.
I do see him, trying to make it a point to see him, I don't know, every couple of years. He was one of my best friends from junior high school, of course, Stanford, and a fraternity brother. So we do keep in touch all the time with emails.
Okay. Would you think he might like to join this, or?
I think he might. Yes.
And Jerry Barton.
Yes, he's the Walnut King of the world.
The Walnut King. He doesn't answer me yet.
He's Dave's roommate. Dave can get him.
Behaved person until I ran into Charles Stockholm and Mike Arnstein. They corrupted me, and then Marty Tree came on. I really was there responsible.
I'm glad you.
That's why Jerry Barton doesn't talk to us.
That's right.
Oh.
Exactly right.
Hey, and Dave, you sicked me on him. I tried to shove it back to you, and you're like, no. You're the president. You do it. And he just given me nothing.
Nothing. Well, I'll tell you who will respond to him is Chuck Stockholm.
Chuck, why don't you call him and tell him to join us?
Give me his number. I'll try.
All right. Let me just write that down.
Best person, of course, would be my ex-roommate, Blob Arnstein. And so it'll be a write-up for the walnuts. That'll be a good task for you, Mike.
Well, you did the walnut story, didn't you, Mike?
I did the walnut story. I'll give you a copy if you like. It was a few months ago. It's a great story. The guy's
yes.
Yeah, it is a good story.
It starts with his grandfather, Jerry Barton's grandfather, taking his two sons, one of them which is Jerry Barton's father, to California from Illinois. He was a doctor in Illinois. He wanted to go to California and get into the farming business. So he did a pilot trip, and then he took the sons on a freight train to California, and they checked out different properties. They started in San Diego, and they ended up in Chico, and then came back down to Ripon on the Stanislaus River, and that's where they bought their first 40 acres and made grew walnuts. They were prunes or something. They changed them to walnuts, and now Jerry's grandson, this is sixth generation, has just joined the farming group. And they are the biggest walnut people, maybe in the world, but certainly in the United States. It's amazing.
Wow. That's a great story. Mike, you've done so many great stories in keeping in touch with each other. And this has been another great way too. So you think we're about ready to wrap up, guys?
Yes.
This has been wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing all
Good
your
job,
funny
Marge.
stories.
Thank
Pardon, Dave?
you, Marge.
Good job.
Wonderful.
Thank
Way to
you.
go, Marge.
Okay. Hey, and happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving to
Happy
Until
everybody.
next time.
Oh, shall we do this again in 3 months, right? November,
sounds
December,
good.
in February. And shall we stick with Monday, Chuck?
Right.
Well, my last board meeting will be in February, so Monday's good for me.
Monday's good. Okay, we'll stick with Monday, 3 o'clock, and I'll pick up whatever date it is, the third week or something. Does that sound good for all of you?
Yes.
Sounds good.
I'll
Sounds
wrap
good.
it up
Happy
by sending you
Thanksgiving.
an email. I'll also, I believe we're being recorded, so I'll edit and clean up all the and make it sound like we are so cool and share it with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Marge.
for all your work.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Guys,
Enjoy your
I'll
turkey.
stay on until you're all
Have
gone.
a good holiday.
Bye-bye.
Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
Go
Happy
Stanford.
Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Have fun.
You too.
Thanks for being here.